Today I would like to talk a little bit about the Nine of Swords energy. So if you're familiar with tarot cards, that's one card. Probably that and the Tower. Nine of Swords and the Tower, two cards we really don't want to get. And I use the tarot cards sometimes to just kind of see what's going on in my life. If there's something I've missed, I ask the divine to speak to me through the cards. And so last week, maybe the week before, I had been drawing the Nine of Swords. And I didn't feel like I was in a Nine of Swords energy. But because I drew it more than once, maybe even 3 times, I really had to sit and be with that energy. If you're not familiar with the Nine of Swords energy, it's kind of like worry, overthinking, up at night, not being able to sleep, anxiety, that kind of energy. And I knew there were some things in my life that were bothering me, but I didn't think, I was like, God, what are you trying to show me? Because it's like, what is that bad? Like, why do you keep giving me this? Because I'm not feeling it that deeply. So I started writing a blog post on it and had a few discoveries. But I'm going to go into it a little bit more today. So if you feel like you're in that energy at all, let's just see if we can kind of dive into it a little bit and find the source of it. Maybe do some healing with the Shakti. Okay? So very clearly, because I've already been diving into this with my blog post, very clearly for me, I can see that there's been a faith issue lately. Maybe not lately, maybe it's always been there, and this is something that now I'm just diving more deeply into. Getting that energy within us where we can rely completely, totally, and absolutely on the divine. So there is never worry, there's never fear about anything, right? About where a career is going, where our finances are, our health. As I get older, well, I'm almost 60 years old now, and I've been on this path of understanding that we don't have to age. And the divine keeps telling me, this is very true. We don't have to age. But it's hard for me to fully believe the divine and have faith in that when, for one, I'm watching myself age, watching my body age, but also just it's the belief in our society is so strong. And it's more around aging gracefully, loving ourselves as we age. Not a lot of people talk about the idea of actually our body is a divine light body, and the aging process isn't actually natural, which is what the divine tells me. So things like that, I have trouble with my faith. And then I watch my body aging, and I watch things happening. The past couple years, I've had some physical things that I've had to go through, and I get worried. I get fearful. So there's on the one side, there's the fearful, okay, this appears to be what's actually happening in my body. I appear to have pain here. I appear to have, this issue in my body. When the divine is saying to me, no, you're fine, and you don't have to age, and this isn't real. So I'm experiencing it as real, and the divine's saying it's not real, and the doctors are saying, well, you have to do this, or you have to take care of this, and the divine's saying, no, you don't. You're already perfect, whole, healthy, and healed. Okay, so this is what the Nine of Swords is for me, and this is also with finances. where the divine says, you know, you have all the money in the world. And my bank account says, That's not what my bank account is currently reflecting. So there's that fear and that worry. Will the money show up? Will there be enough to do this or to do that? And I could pull from other circumstances in my life where that's also true. Where those things are, the divine is telling me one thing, but my physical experience appears to be different. So for me, this is my Nine of Swords energy. It's really when we don't believe what the divine is telling us, then there's a separation there, right? So when I have a separation from the divine, because if I'm not fully having faith in what the divine says, that you have all the money in the world, or that your body is perfect and you don't need to age, if I'm not fully believing what the divine is telling me, then I'm not fully in oneness with the divine. I'm being pulled into this other energy, and this other energy of that kind of worldly worry and fear is exhausting. It's exhausting, and it can definitely create anxiety and fear. So how do we release that? How do we fully release that energy? Yes, it appears that this thing is happening to my body. It appears that I'm fearful about it. It appears that I have pain. But is my faith and trust and knowing in the divinity so true that that's an illusion that can just be flushed away? And even if I appear to be having symptoms, I know the truth, and I'm in full oneness with the divine. And if I am in full oneness with the divine and full belief of what the divine is telling me, because it is the ultimate truth, there's no fear, there's no anxiety, and there's no worry. So can you fully allow yourself to sink into the divine love, into truth, into faith, into knowing that what the divine is telling us is the ultimate truth, no matter what it appears to be. And I know for me, now I know in this moment, because I'm really being shown this in this moment, that this is the source of my Nine of Swords energy. So this is where my work lies, in fully releasing everything that is not of God, that is not of truth, letting it go, letting it go, letting it go, letting it go, letting it go. And this is where grace comes in, and this is where I pray, and I ask the divine, I ask the Shakti, the Kundalini, to release all of this from me, so that I may be in full faith and full trust in the source of all knowingness, which is God, which is Kundalini, which is Shakti, which is love. So I think it's just one more step in releasing everything that's standing between us and the divine. I did a video on doubt last month, and I think this is the same theme. When we release the doubt, when we release the worry and the fear and the anxiety and everything the worldly life is telling us, and fully sink into the truth of divinity, right? We're just with God. We're in oneness, we're in truth, we're in divinity, we're in love. So that's obviously a theme in my life right now. I will continue to be with it and maybe do more videos on it. And I hope this helps with anybody who is experiencing similar feelings, and I love you, and I will see you next time.